Excuse me, Samuel. Your niece, Andrina, has asked me to send you greetings. Today is your birthday. You turn 70. So birthday greetings to you. Furia and Gilo in Guyana, good night to you. Jean Velina, Martina Monrose and Rosella, Martin Monrose and Rosella Monrose, again in the UK, good night to you guys. Good night to Brown Eyes Isaac and all the others, Priska Joseph, good night to all of you. And Thea Joseph, son of your kafa Ishmael. If what I saw your mother the other day, I want Thea, don't do your mother that. Tell your mother come back to St. Lucia, guys. Whoa, my mouth wet, take it, I mean, oh, I'm just going to send you guys a suitcase of sunshine, man. A suitcase of sunshine. Noel Molly, good night to you. Folks, I really don't want to belabor the impact that the fake news, the concocted story had. I don't want to, because I believe I dealt with it adequately last night. But you know, I think it would be remiss of me if I did not play the clip to which I referred. Yes, Perpetua, well, I'm in suit tonight. Actually, we had Parliament, a meeting, preparation for the show in my office. Came right here on it every time. I was saying it would be remiss of me if I did not at least authenticate, verify, or prove, which is what I always do, what I was saying that was said by this woman was a fact. Although I dealt with it adequately, when you have someone who hosts a show and saying that she confirmed what never ever happened, and that's what I want you all to hear. She said she confirmed something that never ever happened. You will now understand the credibility of that person has gone under the bridge, and that you cannot take anything you hear from that individual. And, you know, the name of the show is Lies and Deceit. Folks, take a listen, and you will hear who the real liar and the real deceiver is. Could you play that clip for me, please?
Well, we have some sad news. I learned of it this morning, and I got confirmation a while ago. However, I always believe we have a situation, we have a problem in St. Lucia, in that when you are a public figure, when you are a minister of government, when you are a high-profile person, your life is not private. If you want to live a private life, you do not go into government. I got some news that a minister is not doing too well. He suffered a stroke, and he is not talking. Now, politics is politics. However, we all have a heart. So I'm asking you to send out some praise to him. You know, remember, when you do good, it will return back to you, not to the person, but to you. So let us remember him in our prayers, that he recovers well and that he can continue doing the work the people voted him to do. Even if we may disagree and have our roro, that's fine. But I always err on the side of doing what is right. So let us wish him well. Say your prayers when you go to bed tonight. Say, you know, prayers for him that he gets better. And but sometimes in life we need to know that when it's time to step aside and when it's time to just take care of us. Being a politician or a member of parliament is a very taxing job. I know a lot of people say, no, so you should go up and whatever, but I cannot run for politics in St. Lucia. Because this is why I am trying to change the mindset of people. That politicians what they owe you is an environment where you thrive and you can survive and not depend on them. So until our people realize that as a politician or as a government, you have to create the environment for me to thrive and make money, they will always come to you to ask you for money. So let us wish him well. Let us wish him well. And people, you really don't need to know who. And you know, I am somebody, I always respect people's privacy, but I can give you information and say to you that say a prayer for him, that
you know, say a prayer for him. I just got and you heard yourselves. You heard yourselves, and that's how I operate. That is why my show is so popular. I pride myself on credibility. I pride myself on proving anything I see. Anything I see. I got confirmation. He is not talking. Say prayers for him. Let's wish him well. Now, having pointed that out, anyone with an ounce of integrity would say, look, my source was incorrect. A source I have on which I rely was incorrect. Folks, my source misled me. I was wrong. Okay? We get it wrong sometimes. I remember one time here when I referred to a certain person in the Prime Minister's office as the recipient of basically corrupt funds from a given man. And although it was somebody with the same name, it wasn't her. It wasn't her. And I came on television and I said, you know what? I got it wrong. But everyone could have understood the basis for getting it wrong. The basis for getting it wrong was it was someone with the same name. So you got it wrong. Rather than saying, you know, I got that wrong. And this thing about not mentioning name, well, which minister then? Which minister in the government had a stroke and is not talking? Which one? Which one? If it's not me, who was she referring to? Which one that had a stroke? She got confirmation of whom? Of whom? You know, with that crap about mentioning name, you all don't even know. As I said last night, and I don't want to stay on this nonsense. As I said last night, the biggest lawsuits, the most handsome payouts, when names were never mentioned, innuendos, imputations. So which minister had stroke? Okay, not Richard Frederick. Which minister had stroke? Which minister is not talking? Who you asking them to play, to send prayers up for, send prayers to, or pray for? You know, so I'm saying, you got this thing wrong. And rather than acknowledging you got it wrong, you know, folks, my source messed me up. I called the hospital and they told me, yes, there was a man named so-and-so. I thought was him. You know, You got it wrong, you got it wrong. But rather than accepting that you got it wrong, you are posting more lies and more deceit. A woman left Richard Frederick in church. When, where, in what year, in which country? I don't know. I don't know. More lies, more deceit. You got it wrong, you got it wrong. You are patching one lie with another. That makes no sense. You know, it makes no sense. Folks, let me tell you this. And like I say, I don't have any more time for lies and deceit. But I felt the compunction to play it, so you'll hear for yourselves. But I want to say this final thing. When anybody brings God, and I got a call just before I came here, someone who is extremely deep in the Adventist church, and I got a sister of Saraya asked me to tell her, use her proper surname of what is Luis Ernest. I have the thing on my phone, and stop dragging her father's name, the Alexander, into her thing, because the sister is really sick of it. Sick of it. She said, use your right surname, Luis Ernest. But they call it Luis Ernest. Anyhow. You know, this man deep in the Seventh-day Church called me. And he said to me, Richard, you know what? Can you imagine somebody's asking people to lie to the Almighty God? Somebody's asking people to join them in lying to the Almighty God. And he reminded me of our culture. He said, when you were a little boy, for people to believe you, you would say things like, faith to my belief in God. That is something that we used to say as children to persuade our parents or other persons listening that we were so trustworthy, it was so true. Up to now, when people want to convince you, they say things like, I swear by the Almighty God. Let us not go into whether it's right or wrong. I swear by Almighty God. Those are things that happen in our culture to almost force our listeners to believe us. To force our listeners to believe us. And then you are asking people to pray to the Almighty God on a blatantly fabricated story? Can you believe? You are bringing God into that? Pray to God on a lie? You are asking people to help you lie to the Father? You know? And when you all believe you all are right, go ahead. Go ahead. But once you can ask people to join you in lying to the Almighty, I don't know what kind of sin is that, but I know the Almighty will not tolerate anything like that. Folks, enough said. What I deal with are facts. I deal with facts. I don't deal with I hear or if I confirm, I show it to you. If I tell you it is so, it is so. I show documents, I show clips. And now she cannot say she didn't see. You all heard. You know, you all heard. And facts is what has kept this show with the level and degree of popularity that it enjoys today. With about 30,000 followers almost, 29,000 something. If a show was wanting for objectivity, if a show was wanting for belief, if what you say, I think we're stuck on TV there now. Okay, the audio is there, but the television is not there. Okay. What do we do? Okay, folks, we're taking a quick break. Our audio is okay, but the video is not that good. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Thanks for staying tuned. So I was saying, folks, that I believe in facts, and I believe that facts is what brings out the popularity of a show. The objectivity with which information is dispensed, basically the factual nature, the ability to substantiate what you say is what brings the show its popularity. And I was saying that this show has had the record number of online viewers. We just started, and in 16 minutes, we had 1,900 live viewers, almost 30,000 followers. So I must continue, and I pride myself on being factual, not rorocious. I don't have time for roro. That one married, that one husband leave her, that one. Mantabuza. Mantabuza. I am here with facts. With facts. You know, these days, folks, we are seeing and hearing press conferences one after the other. We are seeing and hearing Shastni on radio and TV as though he's the host of a program. Now, there is nothing wrong if something is not in order, and Shastni speaks on it. But the man is on radio and TV now as though he's the host of a program. A few days ago, Shastni was on Sky FM. With him was Dr. Secret, Diana, Champagne, and others. A caller that is commonly known as Mr. Bermuda called into this pro-UWP station and actually said that if government decides, hear this well, you know, there is a government in office. The people voted for the government 15-2. But a man will tell Chasney that if government one decides to go back to the original St. Jude, that they should burn them down. Yes, burn them down. And like I said, I will prove what I see. The man was actually inciting violence. Neither Chasney, nor Diana, nor Dr. Secret or Champagne or any of the others said anything in relation to the incitement of violence by way of denouncing it. They said absolutely nothing. In other words, he was right to be inciting violence on radio. And we know the old saying, silence is consent. And with that silence, in my view, they are complicit. They all are. Because they implicitly endorsed what the man was saying. When he called, and you will hear in a bit, Dr. Secret actually told Chasney, your friend, he referred to the man as Chasney's friend. The man went on to say, folks, that if Philip J. Pierre and the government does not do as Chasney says, are you all hearing this? Flying democracy out of the window. If the government does not do what Chasney says, it will be riot. It will be riot. And he said so in the presence of Chasney and all of them. In the presence of Chasney and all of them. And guess what? Chasney listened. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Do what Chasney wants, or else riot, or we are burning down the place. You know? And this idiot, who apparently is infested with stupidity of the highest order, on which you can only find on the top shelf of a stupidity store, said that Chasney built St. Lucian's a state-of-the-art hospital. Where is the state-of-the-art hospital? Kikote here. All we have is a glorified car park. I mean, folks, if you just put cladding around the car park right here in Conway, it will look like a state-of-the-art hospital. That is what the fool is calling a state-of-the-art hospital. Inside of there has not one pipe for water. Inside of there has not one pipe for electricals. Inside of there has not one duct, not any duct for air conditioning. La pan pipe jige we outlet. La pan outlet jige we equipment. Empty. But the man will say, Chasney built St. Lucian's, a state-of-the-art hospital, which is the envy of the Caribbean. Which is the envy of the, Who can me say me bought it? You think this man is good in his head? I mean, I will understand political allegiance. I don't have a problem with your allegiance being in one direction or another. But you see, objectivity is what is necessary to bring up your credibility. Once you start making up stories like that, once you start making up stories like that, excuse me, your credibility will go down. It will go down. Somebody said they was not in the studio. Wasn't he? Wasn't Shasley in the studio? Okay. All right. If Shasley wasn't in the studio, well, I will play a clip and you'll tell me whether he was there or not. The clip I have shows Shasley was in the studio. And you know what? He endorsed it afterwards. So let us assume he wasn't. He endorsed it afterwards, as we will all see. But you know, for a man who probably excuse me, did not visit this building at all, and to call that concrete a state-of-the-art hospital is ignorance of the highest level. And what is even worse, folks, when the man was saying what he said, the people laughed. They laughed. Rather than saying, you know, we denounce that, they laughed. Burned down the place. And they laughed. Play the clip.
Hello, Malin.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Secret.
Your friend. Good morning, sir. I give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes, man?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
All right. Mr. Prime Minister, the greatest Prime Minister in the world, Mr. Williams, Lady Diane, and Dr. DeBolt.
Morning.
The government, the CMO, and the frontline staff, along with the government, have been doing an excellent job. A job of excellence. Not until, I won't say until, I fit myself, what I've seen, since the SFB had that match. Because of the greed for power. They were saying they're going to have the biggest match in the history of St. Lucia. Not take any interest in protocols. You understand what I'm saying? I personally blame the SFB for the greed and stop using my Malawi people. Malawi. You understand? They have us in this position. The St. Lucia party to the PRS boys, okay? You guys are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Here, man.
Yeah,
always good to hear from you, Leonard.
Okay.
I hope you're taking care of yourself, my brother.
I'm doing all right. Try my best, sir. Try my best, sir. But don't listen to SFB. Don't do nothing that tell you what to do. Please do. No, let me get to your hospital. You have a problem here. What do you expect, St. Jude's? What do you expect? You think you can pick that Syria building that so Alabama Disaster build or the cage that the lady say? That's what the man knows. That's what he knows. But we have to stop it in his tracks. We have to send him a message. We have to send him a message and let him know this is not his house. That's not his house. He gonna do what you say or riot. He gonna do what you say or riot. If you have to burn down the place, burn down the building, burn it down. Because it's disgusting. A man built a state-of-the-art hospital. That's the envy of the Caribbean. The envy of the Caribbean. And you are telling me you want to take us back to a ladies a cage? You really serious? If this man start any work on that hospital, burn it down. I said, where are you? They're too damn rude. They're too disgusting.
Okay, folks, I was reliably informed that was a combination of two clips. The first Shasti was in studio. The second, he wasn't in studio. So he was in studio when he called, when the guy said to burn down. But he was in there at some other point when the guy called. But you know, that does not excuse you, Mr. Shastney, it does not excuse you for not denouncing this man's pronouncement, or rather incitement of violence. You came under pressure. You were not there, but you came under pressure, and rather than saying that you want to distance yourself and your party from any kind of violence, and to apologize to the people of this country, basically distancing your party and yourself from that, and it was probably an error of judgment. You were emboldened enough, Alan, to use other concocted stories in relation to current government members to justify what this man had done. Okay, you can say that the United Workers' Party, or you ought to have said, you heard the clip, the United Workers' Party does not stand for violence and in no way incites violence. What did you say at the press conference? Before I say what you said, most persons, almost everybody in this country, saw the clip in relation to Joachim. I watched about 3 different clips from different angles in relation to that incident involving Joachim at the church. And I have watched them time and time again. The screen is frozen again on Facebook. I have watched them time and time again. And I cannot see or have not seen in any of them where Joachim Henry had any firearm. And I challenge anyone, I challenge you, Alan Shastney, or anyone for that matter, to prove to me that in any of these clips you can either see a gun or you can hear a conversation in relation to a gun. Let me say that again. The incident involving Guy, Joseph, and Joachim at the church, I challenge anyone to show me any clip that speaks to the mentioning of a firearm or the visibility of a firearm in that incident. Because Joachim told me, and I believe him. I wasn't there, but I believe him. And I have no reason not to believe him because the evidence supports what he says. He says, "Comrade, I had no gun. I did not have a firearm. We did not hear of gun. We did not see of gun. Yet, Shastney will hold a press conference and without an iota of evidence, without any proof of what he says, he will say that Joachim went to a church with a gun. Joachim went to a church with a gun. You know, can you believe this? He went to the church with a gun, with an intention to kill Guy Joseph. Can you believe this? There was no talk of a gun. There was no visibility of a gun. But Joachim went into the church with a gun, with an intention to kill Guy Joseph. That's what he said. With an intention. I lie? Take a listen to this.
Seditious statements. So when Mr. Henry went to a church, and we right now believe with a gun, with the intention of killing Guy Joseph. Seditious statements. So when Mr. Henry went to a church, and we right now believe with a gun, with the intention of killing Guy Joseph. Seditious statements. So when Mr. Henry went to a church, and we right now believe with a gun, with the intention of killing Guy Joseph. Not anybody's church, you know. He left his home, got in a car, and deliberately went to Guy Joseph's church. The following day, I didn't hear the Labour Party condemn that action. In fact, what I saw the Labour Party do was to support Mr. Joachim Henry and to say that he was the victim. Tricia Lionel, when she made her comments about me, I didn't hear the Labour Party say anything. When your own in opposition said that you would take away the citizenships of all the people who became citizens under our administration, that was not seditious. The allegations and the threats that were made against
You know, folks, and like I said, I will repeat, I challenge anyone to show me any clip that substantiates anything that Shastney said there. There is no clip that even speaks to the presence of a gun, far less Joachim having a gun or showing a gun. But Shastney will say that he went there with a gun with the intention to kill Guy Joseph. Now, this unintelligent man spoke of seditious statement. Alan Shastney, do you know the meaning of sedition? Do you know? Do you know what sedition really means? I will show you, because it is my view your intellectual mediocrity cannot envelope the realistic meaning of sedition. Show him the word sedition for me, please. Sedition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state. You hear what sedition is? Conduct or speech inciting people, like what your man did, to rebel against the authority of the state. When you say, if they go back to the old St. John, burn it down, that is a seditious statement. That is a seditious statement. And I cannot understand how you, Alan Michael Shastney, in all good conscience, can come and defend the statement rather than telling persons that you want to disassociate with it. You are using examples that are non-seditious, non-rebellious to justify what the man said. You know, what your caller said was inciting rebellion, so it was seditious. How can a statement by Treasure Lionel about you, what Treasure Lionel said about me, isn't that seditious? How can that be seditious? How can undertaking to withdraw citizenship, if somebody did not qualify in the eyes of this government, how could that be seditious? Huh? How could that? What rebellion is anyone inciting in that regard? I mean, Shasta, you need to go back to school. You really need to go back to school and stop using words that you do not fully understand, or you have absolutely no knowledge of what the meaning is. Now, you know, folks, before he held that press conference, he had another one. He had another press conference before he held that one. And he called it an address to the nation. An address to the nation. I don't know if you all noticed, Shastney took almost the same depiction of the Prime Minister's office thing, the logo, Office of the Prime Minister. And if I remember, Office of the Leader of the Opposition, Shastney don't understand, no longer Prime Minister. He cannot conceptualize it. He cannot live with it. You know, but before that press conference, he had called another. And Shastney now refers to the good people of this country as civil society. Civil society. You know, civil society. Today, Shastney can refer to the people of this country as civil society. The very people that backing dogs when he was Prime Minister, today is out of office, they become civil society. The very people he called jackasses, now he's out of office, they are civil society. The same ones he called beggars, today they are civil society. You know, and now Shastney is asking those people to stand up for what is right. Yes, stand up for what is right. Whilst in government, he said overtly that no one can tell him how to run his government. And you know what, folks? This scholar, Giles or Giles Hillary, whatever his name is, will say if the government does not do what Shastney wants them to do, riot and burn down. I remember quite lucidly that Shastney told the opposition after they had lost the elections on June 6, 2016, he told them that since that date, they had lost the right to speak. You all remember that? He told them that they had lost the right to speak. And they had also lost the right to advise. All of that, Shastney told the then opposition because they had recently lost the 2016 general elections. Today, the very Shastni is calling on civil society, no longer backing dogs or jackasses or mendicants, civil society. He's calling on civil society to stand with him. You know, sometimes I wonder if the screws in this man's mental faculty are all tight. Sometimes I wonder. Take a listen to Shastni.
But should it be every dog that barks that I should respond? I call on civil society to play their part and not to be afraid to speak up for what is right.
I don't listen. I let the jackasses break.
I call on civil society to play their part and not to be afraid to speak up for what is right. Stop it. It is not your job to tell the government how to run government. I call on civil society to play their part.
Stop it. It is not your job to tell the government how to run it. Today, I call on civil society. You hypocrite. You are chagwe pouvoir. Ou arara, kose flamboa. You know, folks, all of a sudden, Shastni has become an authority on everything. Everything. We came into government, or rather, the people of this country, on July 26 last year, sent a very strong message to Shastni and his goons. And on that note, I want to congratulate Mia Motley again and the members of the Barbados Labour Party, another 30-0. 30-0 3.5 years ago, 30-0 now. Next elections, the Labour Party will give Flabo 17-0. And if they were 30 seats, they would get 30-0, the same way like it happened in Barbados. 17 not next elections. Et si nous tenons 30 seats, nous avons 30 not. So the people sent a message on July 26. And basically telling the administration that we are not happy about the way you run the country. We are not happy about the levels of borrowing. We are not happy with the largesse for which government funds are put to. And so we'll vote you out. The money of this country was being squandered. It was being wasted and wasted. And guess what? Shastni and company had no choice but from very early to start an unprecedented level of borrowing. And I'm saying this, folks, something just came in my head. I saw a post where Shastni related to the incident with Ernest Hile. I don't know if there was an incident, but what he called an incident. And there was a big corruption in bold written across the story. And I'm saying, look at that. Corruption under the last administration. And I will not be here next week. I don't think I will be, unless something almost compels my presence. And if I have to push back, I do. But I don't think I'll be here. And I'm going to give my students that corruption index to show you that under the last administration, in the last 5 years, that corruption had risen to unprecedented levels in this country. But yet he speaks of corruption. Deal with that. So basically, folks, those guys squandered our money. They were doing everything. And then they were forced, after they wasted the money, they started borrowing left, right, and center. You know, he wasted $7.3 million on the vaccines. Radical. Wait it on. And even at that press conference, Shasney had the audacity to speak of radical. Even at that press conference, radical that was involved in cement importation, that never had anything to do with the procurement of any kind of pharmaceutical product. You gave the man $7.3 million of hours. He has paid back 2.6, owes the government 4.7. This leech owes us $4.7 million. You know, and at the same press conference where he was trying to justify what this Bermudan caller said and indicated that Joachim was an intended murderer, he said we paid jointly with Barbados, and that is a blatant lie. I have proven it time and time again. The Barbadian authorities said they did not pay 1 penny. Not 1 cent did they pay up front. Paid everything up front. We lost our money. Barbados did not lost 1 penny. You know, in one instance he said the money had been paid back, and then he said the rest will be due in 30 days. We need, budget is coming, we need our $4.7 million. Now you know what is worse, folks? Shasney said that he had done all his due diligence. All his due diligence on the company. But that is a blatant lie. Because, folks, I will show you this. The slightest research on radical investments would have shown that for the financial year ending March 2020, about a year before Shasney gave them our $7.3 million, they lost almost 10 million that year. Are you all hearing me? The same radical investments that Shasney said he had done his due diligence on, the returns indicate that the year before Shasney gave them our $7.3 million, they had lost approximately 36 million EC. The pound was $4 at the time. They had lost $36 million for the year. And any cursory investigation would have revealed that. Show it to the people, please. Good. Statement of comprehensive income for the year ending March 31st. Could you put radical investments at the top? Let them see it's radical investments, please. It's somewhere at the top. You can show it now? Right, good. Radical investments. Statement of comprehensive income for the year ending March. Loss before taxation, 9,970,000. They made a loss of almost 10 million pounds. 10 million pounds they lost in the year before. And the year after, Shasta says he did all his due diligence and he gave them $7.3 million. Any company, folks, a company loses $36 million this year. You say you do your due diligence. The following year, you're giving them $7.3 million. You know, folks, it is all of those things. It is all of those things that cause this country to be borrowing so much. It is all of those things that cause this country to be borrowing so much. Then you have Ernst & Young. You came in, first thing you do, you hire an outside firm to assist us in the preparation of the budget. An outside firm to assist us in the preparation of the budget. And what do? Give them 1% of our budget, as you said. After Ernst & Young took almost $50 million of ours, they moved because there's no more money for them. You know, 50 million. Lockerbie came, take 32 million. Sandals, 24 million. T.O. King, loads and loads of millions. You know, St. Jude took enough millions from the corruption. Permandu, 13 million. I mean, and the wastage went on and on and on. And then this country, the government then had no choice but to go on a borrowing spree. They were borrowing spree. In fact, when the opposition attempted to put the government on the right track insofar as their borrowing policies were concerned, Shasta told them they had lost the right to rise. And nobody could tell them how to run the government. Let me remind Shasta of what transpired in August chamber before the elections of July 26 last year. Could you remind him for me, please, Mr. Technician?
The public debt, which was recorded at 3.4 billion, had parachuted to 3.6 billion. And the most alarming statistic of all, Mr. Speaker, was that the debt to GDP ratio will exceed 90% by the end of March 31st, 2021. Mr. Speaker, these numbers speak for themselves, and Mr. Speaker, clearly show an economy in crisis and in danger of becoming a failed state. Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia finds itself in uncharted territory, and it appears that we are knocking on the IMF door.
We've borrowed almost $500 million in 3 months.
Wait. You borrowing too much money?
The big argument really has been, are you taking on too much debt? And this is what we keep on trying to explain to everyone.
The Prime Minister equates St. Lucia's ability to access multinational loan funding as the litmus test for the economy's creditworthiness on the international market. Senator Auger holds a contrary view.
So it's not sustainable. And what will give us comfort is to know that whatever situation we are in, 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion, it really doesn't matter. The question is it sustainable? And it is not everything that you can do, that you should do.
So to go and borrow more money, we've borrowed almost $500 million.
Wait.
Mr. Speaker, the government has borrowed over $400 million this year. It has borrowed over $400 million this year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government boasts
again, the member
is
using information to mislead the House. How much you borrow doesn't mean that it's attributing and going towards the debt of the country.
What?
The document says that, in fact, what we've done is we've added $320 million to the debt stock of the country.
Okay, the government has borrowed between $320 and $400 million.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
Again,
Speaker.
the member.
Honorable members.
He's going to get the information correct. Say it correctly.
Honorable members, let's not start the morning.
Mr. Speaker,
wrong footing.
The truth hurts. Mr. Speaker, the government boasts
again, the member
about
is using information to mislead the House. How much you borrow doesn't mean that it's attributing and going towards the debt of the country.
What?
How much you borrow doesn't mean that it's attributing and going towards the debt of the country.
What?
How much you borrow doesn't mean that it's attributing and going towards the debt of the country.
What?
St. Lucia's public sector debt has increased by more than 900 million, or 30%, since the Shastny administration took office in 2016. According to this table, St. Lucia's debt is highest in the Eastern Caribbean, close to 350 million more in the red than number 2, Antigua and Barbuda.
You just put in a bill on St. Lucia, that's not right. Shastny off you, bro.
You all did send him packing. How much you borrow does not add to the debt of the country. Folks, you ever hear that? You borrow money, but it doesn't add to your debt. And you're telling me this man was fit to be prime minister? You're telling me we couldn't have done better? You know, I just cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Because this is what we had as a prime minister. Now, I want to go for a break, you know. But I have so many juicy little topics to touch on. I want St. Lucians to listen to this very well. On the 26th of July, a new government was elected. On the 26th of January this year, it would be 6 months since the people of this country made the wise choice and sent the government, the then government, packing. The people of this country spoke loudly, they spoke decisively, giving a 15-2 mandate to this administration. And in that process, they literally ended the careers of a lot of them, because a lot of them cannot return to the electorate as political candidates. Within those 6 months, this current government has not borrowed 1 penny. The government has not borrowed 1 penny. We have never had a Madipwete. Let me say that again. Nous pas jamais ni un Madipwete. We have never gone into parliament to place a heavier financial burden on the people of this country. No, we have not. You know why? We are being led by a true, real, patriotic St. Lucian whose knowledge of economics far surpasses what obtained in the previous administration. Now, there is no doubt that at some point the government will have to go and borrow. There is no doubt. It's a must. But I can tell you that Philip J. Pierre has been instrumental in exercising extreme caution about driving down the road of Madipwete. You know why? Because the government is not engaging itself in lavish spending. And very or can hold back a bit borrowing. And you know what, folks? This government has taken a totally different approach to the start of governance of this country. Quite apart from not borrowing any money whatsoever, this government has started by saving money. Oh yes, we have started by saving money. What do I mean by that? Alan Chasney and co. came into office, and for their first budget, for the preparation of their first estimates of expenditure, they contracted Ernst & Young. They contracted Ernst & Young at a contractual agreed rate, according to Chasney, of about 1%. Ernst & Young collected pretty close to $50 million from the taxpayers of this country, money we can do with now. And then they left. And Chasney had no choice but to revert to the very civil servants who had done our estimates from time immemorial. And I believe it will go down in the history books of this country that, quite apart from all his ill deeds, because Chasney wouldn't be prime minister again, not in this country, he will go down as the only prime minister who contracted outside assistance to the tune of millions and millions of dollars to assist in the preparation of estimates of expenditure. This government came in July 26. We are now in the preparatory stages of the estimates. Who are we using? You don't have to think twice. But this government has made the conscious decision, a government led by a man who really cares, is using the civil servants. The government is using the civil servants to prepare the budget which shall be presented to the general public. And those are facts. Those are facts, and that is what, you know, when people come and say blah, 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 it's a fact that Alan used Ernst & Young. It's a fact that started, and civil servants are the ones preparing the budget. Not Ernst & Young, no. Civil servants. The very civil servants whom he discarded in favor of Ernst & Young, and to whom the country had to pay an extremely hefty sum. Our Prime Minister has shown confidence in his civil service. He has shown that civil servants can rise to any occasion, as they have done historically, save when Alan decided he's looking for outside assistance. We are using people we know. We are using people we know who we believe are patriotic to the cause of this country. We are using people who believe about this country. And guess what? If we were to apply the 1% fee that is charged, if we were to apply it today, Philip J. Pierre would have had to write a check for Ernst & Young to the tune of about $16 million. Oh yes. But we are smarter than that. We are not enveloped in stupidity. We are smarter than that. We are smarter than that. We are prudent enough to trust our civil servants and not contract those persons from outside organizations to make any money on taxpayers of this country. And this is the difference between the last administration and this one. Folks, we'll go for a break. When we come back, we're going bananas. Stay tuned. Trust me, you will be surprised about the revelations in the next segment.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Nestled in the quiet northern neighborhood of Larry Twet is a housing development designed specifically for homeowners looking for that ideal location, the epitome of serenity, a retreat from the hustle and bustle of everyday living. Our homes cater to the specific needs of you, the modern homeowner: style, comfort, space, and above all, privacy. Want to experience scenic, breathtaking mountain views, postcard garden sunsets, balconies overlooking well-manicured gardens, and large yard and parking space? Visit us today.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a live video, and I was not disappointed. He was professional and kept in touch with me throughout the live, just making sure I was satisfied with everything. I would definitely use Paddy Access again, and I highly recommend that anyone looking to do a live video to hire them. Everyone who watched my brother's funeral had good things to say about how much of a good job the videographer did. If you want satisfaction for your money, Paddy Access is the way to go.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boost your stamina, and increases your endurance.
Enhance can be purchased at Citygate Bar, the CDC opposite the market, Dexter's Car Wash on Chaussee Road, Plants Place on the Dennery Highway, Arlette Supermarket in Soufriere, the Release Stress Bar on the Labrie Highway, and Cool Joint Bar in Victoria, Choiseul.
You can get your Enhance at Prio's Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Gurzile Bus Stop. Prio's Bar and Grill in Corinth, Gurzile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Thanks for staying tuned. I want to say a special good night before getting back into it to Melissa Joseph Emmanuel of Economic Development. Good night to you, Melissa. Good night to Rufus and Beverly Andre. Good night to you guys. Good night to the St. Catherine family of Rosehill. Good night to you. Nicole Phillips and your mom. Special good night to you. Cleopatra Anthony. Sagavet. Sati boy like this you. Yeah. Good night to you. Bolo, Mikey, Jermaine, Karim, and all the others by Mikey's Bar. Good night to you guys. Sky Louise, how are you? Merlin Samuel of Georgeville, and all my people in Georgeville, Tutsi, and all the others. Good night to all of you. Kalmaja, good night to you. Pinky Pin, good night. Secure from Wapatat, a special good night to you. Kisha Edwin and your brother, Julian Charles, good night. Hayden and Jaden, the Thomas family. Zol, Mustain, Yuri, Zotut, good night, good night, good night. Rupina and Kevin Cleary of Canries, good night to you. Good night to Trevor Francis in the U.S. and, of course, the man himself, Pages in New York. Good night to you. Now, folks, again, one of the fundamental differences between Philip J. Pierre and, what's his name again, Alan Chastney. Imagine I'm forgetting Chastney's name, Lord God. Is that Philip J. Pierre does not intend to deceive anybody. He does not intend to fool anybody. Whenever he speaks from the heart. And that is the fundamental difference between them. You see, some time ago, Philip J. Pierre asked persons to consume more bananas. And what do the hags do? They laugh. They laugh. They made memes, emojis, and they did all within their powers to place a damper on what is, I will not tell you, I will show you, was sound advice by the Prime Minister. But you see, persons made fun of him and attempted to ridicule him. But I can tell you he was attempting to deceive nobody. When Chastney took government's vehicle, and in relation to that same bananas, he placed an FAR plate on it. Wasn't he attempting to fool those very banana farmers by showing he identifies with them? Isn't it true he had done that just for show? He wanted to fool the farmers to show, I told you, vote for me, and now I'm one of you. You all remember that? We have the FAR pic there, right? Could you show? You all remember that? You all remember Shasta putting FAR on the government vehicle? You all remember that? Today, Philip JP is asked to eat bananas and everybody's laughing. He's laughing. They are laughing, sorry. Pretending that the Prime Minister had committed a cardinal sin. You know? But Shasta was tired of using bananas to fool our farmers. 2 days before elections, just 2 days before elections, in 2016, he posted, and I'm tired of showing it here, he posted on his page that he had just returned from a meeting in Martinique and that we will be shipping that very bananas to Martinique and France as long as they elect him. You all remember that? For over 5 years, we never sent one box of bananas to either Martinique or France. And I'll tell you what, elections were on the 6th of June, 2016. I want you to listen to Shasta. 2 days later, on the 8th of June, 2 days later, hear what Shasta said to the media.
Alan Shasta promised farmers.
Not that clip, Mr. My technician.
We have commenced conversations with the president of the Banana Cooperative for Guadeloupe and Martinique. And I'm going to ask Ezekiel Joseph to immediately continue those conversations. In fact, the vice president of Martinique will be over here probably tomorrow. If he's not over here tomorrow, he'll be over here very shortly. But that is going to be priority one. I mean, to be able to get the banana industry back on its feet, we're looking at possibility of 50 to 60,000 tons a year at least $35 a box. The ability to bring financing to the table and also to bring inputs to the table, and the government will have to support it with irrigation support, but we are committed to getting that banana sector off the ground. The reason is that our rural areas are dying, and this is going to be a great opportunity to revive the rural areas.
The government is committed to getting that banana sector off the ground because our rural areas are dying. You all heard, you see, that's how I present my case. I didn't say it. This was 2 days after the elections. Shasta said that the government is committed to getting the banana sector off the ground because the rural areas are dying. But for 5 years, he did absolutely nothing. For 5 years, he never sent one box of bananas to Martinique. For 5 years, he never sent one to France. Yet he said we would increase production and we would get much more money. Listen to a farmer 5 years later. 5 years later. Listen to this.
Alan Shasta promised farmers a market for their bananas in France, the result of which he said would be a significant increase in output and a better price per box of bananas. The Grand Ravine farmer 5 years later admits they were duped.
By all means, farmers would have fall for that, because sometimes we have more loss than we have in, a good income. Because remember, sometimes with our banana, sometimes during the year, we throw more banana down, we cut more bunches down. So when he come with that and say he have a market to ship banana to France, we was glad about that, because remember, we would make more money. We thought we would make more money when he come with that thing saying he have a market to France. We think we would make more money at that time, but apparently that never happened.
So you're saying that y'all were duped?
That's what. Probably the man was playing election. The man had an election like the man wanted to fool us.
The farmers believe that the entire community of banana farmers should take a stand and demand that government pay them what's owed. However, according to...
Now, folks, 5 years later, the farmers are saying they were duped. And now, the hacks want to ridicule sound advice. Folks, it might surprise you. It might surprise you insofar as bananas are concerned. You see, there is an old saying, out of adversity, there is always an opportunity. When you are shut down for disclosing an opinion that probably is on the side of objectivity. It's your opinion, but it's almost real. It's almost factual. It drives persons around you who support you into an investigative mode. It forces persons to do research, to support your opinion. And while all the hacks gave Philippe J. Pierre, my Prime Minister, all the flack, I want all of you to look at this story, and it will surprise you. Walmart's best-selling item isn't what you'd expect. And I will read. Sam Walton opened his first Walmart store in Rogers, Arkansas in 1962. After finding success in the dime store business via Walmart. Now, decades later, in just 2020 alone, Walmart employed more than 2.2 million associates worldwide, served more than 265 million customers per week, and brought in revenues of $524 billion from more than 11,000 stores. The mega retailer reportedly sells more than 75 million products. Hear this well. Walmart sells more than 75 million products. However, there is one product that outsells all the rest, according to Walmart CEO Doug McMillon. The top-selling product at Walmart is surprisingly bananas. Let me read that again. And you all want to laugh at Philip J. Pierre? The mega retailer reportedly sells more than 75 million products. Okay? More than 75 million products. And the one product that outsells all the rest, according to the CEO, the top-selling product at Walmart is surprisingly bananas. And this is what he said in a recent interview. Go back up. I want to show them the date of that, please. Go back up. Go scroll. Show me the date. The date is a little higher. You can't, no, it's, oh yeah, right here. You all see the date on that? January 6, 2021. January 6, 2021. You're laughing at Philip J. Pierre? January 6, 2021, he said in a recent interview that out of 75 million products, 75 million products, bananas is the top seller. And he said bananas have been Walmart's top seller for years. In 2013, a Walmart spokesperson told Business Insider that bananas were the top-selling item. Even then, because they were easy, healthy, and affordable. What are you talking about? I just wish we as a government can create a linkage with Walmart. What are you all talking about, folks? Logically, it adds up per capita. Americans eat an average of 27 pounds of bananas per year. And worldwide, more than 100 billion bananas are eaten every year. So as odd as it sounds, Walmart's top seller makes sense. Hacks, what do you have to say now? Hacks, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? Huh? Out of 75 million products, not 75,000, out of 75 million products, bananas would be Walmart's top seller, and it has been so for a very long time. And you know, you're making memes. I don't know, when Philip JPS said, trust the science, they laughed. They laughed. And I don't know if Fauci and this one and persons were literally echoing the very thing that Philip JPS had said here. The same thing people had said down here about trusting the science. It was echoed on those networks with the highest worldwide or global audience. Trust the science. All over America trust the science. But our 43%ers were laughing at him. And if, Mr. Prime Minister, you know what you should have done? You should have just apply for some kind of patent. You know, you coin your phrase, trust the science, and days after, every media house in the U.S. is trust the science. You spoke about banana, and they were laughing. The hacks were laughing. You spoke about bananas, and they made memes, all sorts of foolishness. Today, out of 75 million products, bananas is Walmart's top seller. Mr. Prime Minister, I don't know if you are near a phone, but if you are, I really don't mind you giving us a call. I will not take any break again if the Prime Minister comes on. Mr. Prime Minister, if you are calling, feel free to call on my phone. Meanwhile, let's take a couple of calls. 4533-911. We'll go on for another 15 minutes or so. 4533-911 is our number in here. You see, they were laughing. They were laughing. People talking about, oh, okay, the Prime Minister is calling. I'm trying to get you. PM. Hello. How are you doing, Mr. Prime Minister?
Everything is okay?
I'm good. I'm sure you didn't you saw the story I just put up?
Yeah, but what's strange about our situation is that we have been exporting bananas to other people's country and asking them to eat it.
Yes.
You understand? And look, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
I was asked a question about the banana industry, right?
Yes.
Because if you look at the text, you won't see that there at all.
Yes.
I was asked a question about...
They always edit it conveniently.
Yeah. So the guy asked me, what about bananas? I said to him, listen to me. The situation in bananas is as such. Farmers planted a lot of planted bananas because they intended to sell it to Martinique and France because of a promise made by the UDAP government, that never happened.
Exactly.
And I also said to them that Windfresh, where we should sell our bananas, collapsed again under the
former
UDAP
administration.
government.
Yes.
Right. So there are no outlets to sell bananas. So I said there are two options. Option number one, we must look at the regional market where you sell it to Barbados, Trinidad, as far as the Dominican Republic, where St. Vincent has done that very well.
Yes.
I even said that St. Vincent has established shipping lines and St. Lucian farmers to try to get strategic alliances with
St.
these
Vincent, yes.
Vincentian ships. Right?
Yes, you said so several times.
Right. I said St. Vincent has used the entire banana infrastructure to sell food crops, etc. And I said that we now have to see if we can sell our bananas and other food crops to diversify our agriculture, because it looks like, and I also said that only last month the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Commerce went to England to see if they could sell bananas directly to the supermarkets. But I said, in the meantime, why to do it as a regional market? We must try to encourage our people to eat more bananas for many reasons. I said, I spoke about the health. I spoke about all the foods that we eat that cause us to have all these illnesses. And I said bananas together with local produce. And I said in our school feeding program, I said our nutritionists should try ways and means of making all kinds of things with bananas. Because there's talk of banana flour, but even using the leaves. So I mean, it was. But listen, Minister, how can you be telling people to buy your food
and you don't want to eat it?
You don't want to eat it yourself. But it just shows you the desperation. So if an Englishman says eat an apple a day, which is something you learn when at school, an apple a day keeps
the doctor away.
You understand?
Yes.
Right. So the Englishman. So if the Minister of Agriculture in England says eat more apples, but it's a bigger fundamental error. It's a bigger fundamental and philosophical issue. It's not as simple as you think. It shows you how the United Progressive Party has disrespected and have no understanding of the core values of the people of St. Lucia, nor do they understand that our people must be proud of ourselves. We must be proud of what we grow. We must be proud of our culture. We must be proud of our patrimony. And we must have a level of pride, a level of philosophy. Our society must be based on a philosophical underpinning. But what happens? You have a guy who says that our credit card is our patrimony. A guy who says colonialism has a conscience. A guy who says that he's a product of somebody else's country. So how can you tell people to eat what you grow? So I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something, Minister.
Yes. Boss.
I am very, very satisfied with how the people of St. Lucia generally has accepted this government.
Yes.
You in the cabinet, you see how we work together. We are right now preparing a budget. You see the give and take that is happening. You see we haven't been speaking about investments yet, but the amount of interest that's been shown in St. Lucia.
Yes.
Our economic policy is to create stability. We paid all our debts. We are paying all our debts. People are interested in our bonds. We need to develop more confidence in terms of people being able to buy our paper. So what we're doing is that we have to keep focused. We have to keep focused. What's happening now is desperation by people who do not understand that they've been voted out.
Yes.
Desperation.
Total.
Pure desperation. Total desperation.
But
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
You are in the cabinet.
Yes.
And you see how we work.
Yeah, we work together.
The level of cooperation.
There is utmost cooperation and unity.
Then what we're going to do is that we are in power only, in government only for 6 months. It's 6 months on 26th of January. When you listen to all this desperation, this desperate talk, it almost makes you crazy. When you have people accusing other people of murder and trying to compare. I mean, this is.
Can you believe that?
It's really sad. But let's do our work. Let's continue to build confidence in our economy, and let's trust our people.
Yes.
I believe St. Lucians, the majority of them, they understand what we're doing, the support that we're getting. We're going to be rolling out our house repair program very soon.
Yes.
And I tell you something, Minister, we spent 5 years in opposition. The government of St. Lucia gave us nothing. Since we are there, and I know sometimes you guys get
but you know, boss, I have a little problem with you for that, eh? I mean, you believe in equity. I don't have a difficulty with that. Let me tell you one thing that happened. Stick up in quickly here. PM, when you gave us you gave the school assistance sum to every constituency, Alan Shastney took his money. We took ours. We bought books, uniform, shoes, and everything else. Alan took his and bought strictly laptops and made people believe that he was the only one giving laptops, not telling the people that it was Philip J. Pierre as Prime Minister who used his good conscience to give him an allocation just like he had given to everybody else. You see? He never said that.
We just give him another allocation for the house.
For the house repairs.
Repair program.
You know?
We just gave him an allocation, you know. But and in government, he never gave. He said we lost our right to speak.
Yes. You all lost your right to speak. You lost your right to advise.
And the supporters of the United Workers' Party are also St. Lucians.
Yes, that's
true.
true.
Children go to school. We paid CXC for all
Everybody.
of them. We paid facility fees for all of them. Children, we never asked. You didn't have to come to a constituency office to get your CXC fees paid, right?
Yes.
You didn't have to come to a constituency office to
get your facility fees. Right.
No, the principals paid it. So we are moving on. We are moving along. I mean, you know of the exciting programs we have for the people coming forward. But what we got to do is we have to just keep focus. What we're trying to do is to derail us. If all the threats and all that is to derail us by people who are frustrated, who don't understand that the people have spoken, and let's work together. But I want to invite all the UWPs to let's work together. Elections are over. You've lost. You've been defeated. But let's work together. We still offer some support to you through your parliamentary reps. Let's work together for the country. We got serious issues. You know, they blamed us for COVID. Look at now. I mean, look at the COVID situation. No one knows how to solve the COVID situation.
But the COVID is hitting America bad.
Exactly. When I said trust the science, everybody was
they were laughing.
What else can you do? Nobody. I want to tell, I mean, when I read the nonsense about you can't blame children for I mean, look at what happened in England last week. Boris Johnson went back to Plan A.
Yes,
he freed it up.
Yes.
You know, I'm not saying we can do this, but no one has the answer. Anybody who pretends. I hear your daughter on television, on CNN. When she speaks. All the time she speaks about trusting the science and talking about what you can do today is not what happens tomorrow. There was no delta. Now there is delta. I mean, but when you have people in television speak, some of them speak, and they talk about when we were in opposition. When we were in opposition, Minister, look at the speeches that I made. All we said to the government, you give them advice. We never blamed the government for COVID. Mm-hmm. We always said that people follow the public health protocols, right? Wash your hands, sanitize, and keep socially distanced. And now we say the people to vaccinate. So I tell you something. I'm not perturbed. I'm not perturbed. My concern is the people of St. Lucia. My concern is we have to find employment for the young people. My concern is that we have to get devices, because as you know, the mess that was made with these e-books, the mess that was made with these e-books, which is costing us money and they're basically useless. That's my concern. My concern is not desperate people who believe that they have a God-given right to run St. Lucia. St. Lucia, anybody can want to run St. Lucia. St. Lucia is not made for any particular person
or set of people.
No, it's not. It's not. But some people think they have a God-given a right to run it. They haven't. Anyhow, we said tomorrow we have important things to do tomorrow. So
okay. No, I wanted to ask you one thing again, PM. I wanted to.
Before I end, I want to thank the government of America.
Yes.
Today, we accepted a $600 field hospital.
$600,000.
$600,000, yes.
Yes.
US dollar
field hospital.
I went in, we opened it, and we had a tour. It's a real nice gift. It's actually a hospital. I want to thank the government and people of the United States for that. And also all the foreign missions, the foreign embassies who are asking to help us. We are very pleased with what's happened so far. I'm very happy with the way the people of St. Lucia have responded to the government. We have some issues. We have an issue of crime, of murders, of homicides in particular, which you have to deal with. But we take it one step at a time. And we take it there. But thank you very much, Minister, for taking that time.
But Mr. PM Boss, you don't want to just briefly tell them about your ability to have maneuvered in this and navigate in this difficult financial waters, and how you were able to do it without having one Madi Pwete so far?
Well, we have not borrowed. We've been running the country on the revenue and on the treasury bills and bonds. Right? The revenue and treasury bills and bonds. What happens is that a bond is an instrument that somebody buys for a particular length of time. Okay. Now, supposing they buy a bond for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, they can either take their money or they can roll over the bond. Now, rollover in the bond means that they leave it with you. They say, listen to me, just pay my interest and leave the rest of the money with me. Bonds and treasury bills. Treasury bills are shorter instruments. They take 3 months. So what we've been doing is, because we've been maintaining a certain level of fiscal stability. And it's very important that we keep that fiscal stability going, because people need to have confidence in our ability to manage our economy and to manage our bonds. So the rate of rollover of our bonds have been very satisfactory, because people have confidence in our ability to manage the economy. But also, they need to have confidence in our governance.
Yes.
And that is why we are going to ensure that we find out what happened in places like St. Jude, what happened at Iwanero International Airport, what happened at the Roseau Dam. These stories will have to be told. Not because we want to go on any witch hunt, but we want investors to have we've not found out yet. We haven't disclosed how much is paid for Range, the Range Hotel. Now, we haven't said these things yet, you know. How much was paid for Range? These things have not been said. You understand? Because we need to have a certain level of good governance so people can have confidence in our people, they can have confidence in our country, and they have confidence in our ability to keep macroeconomic stability. So regardless of all the threats, regardless of all the noise, we're going to do what we're going to see. We're going to see the truth. The truth is, we borrowed $186 million for roads, being paid back in 5 years. And if you're just taking on, whilst we're doing that, we rejected a QAT loan for 20 years.
You know, the bad decisions.
Stories are told, Minister. When stories are told. But you know, they don't want us to tell the stories, so there's a lot of noise. But with patience and with time, these stories will be told.
Okay, boss. Have a good night.
Much, and see you tomorrow.
God willing. Bye-bye. Bye.
I'm glad to see you. When I saw you yesterday, I thought you had lost your... When I saw you yesterday, they said you had a stroke. I was very concerned about you. So when I saw you in cabinet yesterday, I was shocked. In fact, all the guys who saw that, if you recall the big round of applause you got.
I had a stroke in my mouth, and it was confirmed.
And by the way, they said that I lost my toes.
You lost all your toes.
I lost all my toes. So one day, I mean, when you have people so desperate that they're praying for people to be sick.
Yes.
This is a real serious situation.
Serious, very serious. And let's pray for them. Okay, God bless. Bye. Okay, that was my Prime Minister, whom I have utmost regard and respect for, who leads by example. Yesterday, folks, he has disclosed the government of St. Lucia, in fact, the people of St. Lucia, through the government, received a field hospital. It is a movable hospital. They call it field hospital. They always have them, the armies, and, you know, you go into war in a given area, you could use those hospitals. So we received them today from the Americans. I remember when we, at one of the cabinet meetings, the Prime Minister stayed and he said, you know, folks, 3 bad decisions. I mean, you gave Heather Sewell $186 million of design, finance, and build. Were given to a fresh start, this one, that one. Okay? 186 million. But they're giving you, and we have to pay in 5 years. But the Kuwaiti government is giving you a loan for 20 years to do the North-East Link Road. That was the route from Denry, and you end up somewhere in Babonneau or thereabout. But to do that link road, and you refuse it. And it just tells you the kind of bad decisions. You had a hospital, you needed just about $4 million to complete it. You aborted it, and you go and build another one, spend $100 and something million on it, and all we have is a glorified car park. We had a situation at the airport where we had a PPP in place. You paid a fine of $3-point-something million only to start the airport, and a debt of $600 million is staring us in the face. And those are the kind of bad financial decisions that were made. Yet, persons tell you that Shastni was doing a good job. Well, we have a caller who has been on the line. Let's take that call. Good night. Can I help you? Hello.
Good evening, comrade.
How are you, bro?
I am well. I was down with a little bit of the flu, I must say.
Yeah, the flu.
Because I'm fully vaccinated. I think it was just a mild flu.
Yes.
But I'm recovering. My brother, I want to say a pleasant good night and God bless to the Prime Minister and the entire cabinet.
Yes, indeed.
And I just want to say something tonight. The United Workers' Party keeps saying in their mouthpiece about Maliwe. But you said something tonight that our government is using the civil servants to do our budget, to prepare our budget. I want to tell St. Lucians that most of the civil servants that are doing our budgets are the children of the Maliwe of St. Lucia. And I want to say thank you for the Maliwes. And all the upper hand people who voted the St. Lucia Labour Party for saving St. Lucia.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Thank you,
my brother.
Yes.
I want to say to you that I listened to a show this afternoon where the expectation tonight that you are going to be wasting your time on them little women from the United Workers' Party who feels that they are the mouthpiece and they are all the say. I want to thank you for not debating them tonight. No. And I want to say to them, because their cohorts must be listening, to tell them that they have a right to converse. They have got a right to go on the attack. But I want to say to them that it is 6 months that we are in office. There is going to be 6 terms of the St. Lucia Labour Party for them to hush them off.
And
because I know.
There's one thing you didn't say. Next election, there's no 15-2.
You're very soft. I'm hardly hearing you.
Is a mere motley we're doing them.
If you can be a little louder, let me hear what you're saying, my brother.
I said next elections is a mere motley we're doing them.
Well, we can have they always say, some of them are saying that an election is soon. I can tell them that we have an election tomorrow, and after they will not be prepared. They have now, I want to give them some instructions. Right now, what I want them to do is to go get rid of Alan Chastney. Work very hard to get a person that we have not seen, like Philip J. Pierre and the St. Lucia Labour Party. The United Workers' Party, I want to give somebody else a chance, but I want to say to the United Workers' Party that I and yourself was a member of,
yes,
that the United Workers' Party is no longer a political party. All they are right now are just a group of people trying to find their way that with no roads. There's no road for them. I don't think they have any direction. So they should try and find their direction. And as the PM just said, I invite all United Workers' Party, like myself before and now, to join hands
and Stevenson King. Stevenson King as well.
Well, Stevenson King is as I've always said, is a brother of St. Lucia, a son of the soil, and no matter what they say about Stephen and yourself, you have done the best that St. Lucia could ever have in this present time. My brother, you, St. Lucia, have a blessed day.
Thank you. You know, the point I was making is that if UWP was what UWP ought to have been, if it was the kind of party that reflected the philosophies and principles of Sir John, Stevenson King would have still been enveloped therein. But obviously, with what's going on there right now, this is not a party. And I can say again, I said last night, I will say tonight again, mani pièce kote ka aleko, lewe mkite parti sala, gouvernement sala, si se yotum detum toatum sectum, le mkite mwefini ek politics. We'll take our final caller. Sorry I couldn't take many, but it's 10:30, cabinet again tomorrow. Good night, can I help you?
Good night, Mr. Frederick.
Good night.
Yeah, Mr. Frederick, let me tell you.
Yes.
People can say whatever they want to say, but St. Lucian is not stupid.
Again. Yeah, we
because
can
St.
see.
Lucian know exactly who that is in their favor and who that is not in their favor.
Yes.
Now I can tell you, Alan Chastney, I don't know what we're doing with him in St. Lucia. Because it's destruction. Everything that man want to do is destruction he want to bring.
Yes. Now he's asking people to fight, eh?
So I don't know what we're doing with him. Yeah, because let me tell you, because of Alan Chastney, man like Spider and all these fellas lose the election, you know.
And not only
because
lose,
even
they
though those fellas
correct.
have good intention to do things for the people of the country, but Chastney is not a St. Lucian. Chastney will never want to do what that is right for the country. So that is what we have to understand. It is time for us to take out Chastney there. Because as long as Chastney remain there, UWP cannot stand a chance.
Well, I want him to
win
stay.
the election.
I want him to stay there. That's exactly why I want him to stay. The only other place I want Chastney to go is somewhere where he can pay for the misdeeds he has done to this country. Okay?
Amen.
All right. Okay, caller. Technician, what you say? You tired? Okay, he told me we have another caller. Good night. Can I help you? All right. All right. The caller is the boss, and the technician is the boss. When he says go, I go. When he says stop, I stop. Good night. Can I help you?
Good night, George.
Good night.
Yeah, happy New Year to you, Richard.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Lower the volume of your TV or radio, please.
Yes, man. And how you doing?
What's up, Mela? I've not been up Lappensee in a couple days, you know, so I have to come up the road.
Yes, you need to do that. You need to do that trip.
Yes, my brother.
But I know we have a lot of work to do.
Indeed.
But you have to spend the time putting programs in place.
That's what we're doing now.
And we know that you're busy getting things together for the people of not only Lappensee, but the people of Central and the rest of St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, yes, indeed.
Yeah, but Richard, Chief, one of the things that people are going to do, or they prepared to take down our Prime Minister at any level.
Well, I'll tell you, if I have to be his human shield, I will be his human shield.
We all have to be his human shield.
Yes,
and even the United Workers' Party supporters look on the bright side, because as we can see, we have to save St. Lucia. And Mr. Pierre is not there he is not there as by choice. He's there by selection. We selected him, elected him.
Yes.
You know, he's not there by choice. And he has 5 years. And then when he proves to them, the other 5 years is going to mountain it. Because Mr. Pierre always tells him 5 years is not 500 years.
Yes, yes.
And the heirs on the ground, we need to do that. We need to listen. We need to work with the people, not only from the top, but from the bottom.
Yes.
Because it's the bottom that will be doing the work for this country.
Yes.
The top will just be operating on the bridge, putting the ship on course. But we on the deck that have to put the diesel and put the wheel, our hand at the wheel to make that ship run properly.
Yes, indeed.
And I listen to some people sometimes and I say to myself, I listen to that program, I listen to it every day of my life. There's another United Workers' Party program that they say it is not, but it is a United Workers' Party program.
Which one?
The Champagne.
They say it's not?
They say it's not. They say they're balanced. Today, Chief, I heard somebody literally crying out to go to take the streets, you know.
For what?
Literally crying out to the United Workers' Party leader, Shasney, to come on and let us do something because Pierre don't know what he's doing. The man had 6 months of operation. And you could feel that smooth sailing. You could feel the difference in the movements of the city. You could feel, you know, what that government is actually putting in place. You look at the port. You look at the constructions that actually they stopped some, but I know in the near future things will start booming. But these guys are just preaching violence against the St. Lucia Labour Party. And the St. Lucia Labour Party have to make sure that the supporters don't only just wait for handout from the St. Lucia Labour Party, but defend the St. Lucia Labour Party when things have been said about them that is not true. You understand?
Yes.
Because a lot of people are just there waiting, and they're waiting for jobs, waiting for this, waiting for that. You know, we don't put a government there to just spoon feed us. We have to go out and create things. We have to go out and you know, there's so many opportunities in St. Lucia that we can capitalize on. We can't just depend on the Prime Minister or the ministers to give us handout or wait for contract. And this is what a lot of people put government in place for, is to get handout from them. My whole thing about putting a government in place is to work for the children and our future. Mm-hmm. The development of this country is the number one. Yes. And we all have to work with our government right now and do everything in our powers to keep this government on course. I will not, if you are doing anything wrong, Mr. Richard, I will not support you all.
Well, no, but you see, let me tell you something, John, I mean, persons know your voice, so sorry.
That's no problem.
That's fine. I mean, if I am doing something wrong, some time ago I told my PM that I say, boss, if I'm doing something wrong, I need you to tell me. Because sometimes in my mind, I'm doing what's right.
Yes, sir.
But you are saying, no, I'm not doing it right. Let me know. Now, if I'm representing you and you believe in me and you will not let me know that I'm doing something wrong, it means that you don't support me from the bottom of your heart.
That's quite right.
Support does not mean that you endorse everything I do. You endorse what is right, and if you believe I'm going wrong, you put me on the right track.
Yes, I say, boss, look, this is something that, you know, what I can see out of the way you're going, you know, I think you need to stop and take an inventory.
That's correct.
You know, But for me to just stay there and go around and say, boy, Richard is this and Richard is that, and you know the PM is this and the PM is that, we need to call on our ministers, you know, and our ministers then must listen to the people.
Yes.
They all must listen, because 5 years is not 500 years.
Yes.
And as the clock ticks, we are going down.
I know.
We're going down, and the numbers are counting.
Yes,
and these guys are actually waiting in the boundary line there to take us out. So, I must say, so far, so good.
All right.
Yeah, and may you have a blessed week.
Okay.
Yeah, and a blessed weekend.
Okay, I'll talk to you, John.
Yeah, but.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Black Boy, I sent you a video. I just want you to play that video at the end. Folks, Elon Moses, you told me you all are proud of me in Boapatat. And this is what representation is all about. Although Soraya said it, nobody said anything because I spoke about the personal favors. I said that no rep can grant a personal favor to everybody who voted for him. It approximates impossibility. No rep can do that. But what you do is you do community projects that bring relief, that brings up the standard of living of the general community that you represent. And look, somebody just, Elon Moses is saying to me that Wapatat people are proud of me. They are happy. In 6 months, in fact, just before the elections, I indicated to them that if you vote for me, a step that was built in 1970, and I want to go and cut a ribbon there, I'm telling you, I want to do it. A step that was built in 1970, repairs were completed today. Show them that video for me quickly, folks.
Hello, them fellas don't understand about shipping. Let's go up that now, if you're going up. There is a smile. Hard-working man. Smile this time.
You've seen that before. You would have believed it was an area, endless little pipes across the road. It was
Guys, I want you to be in that. You can do hard there.
Cost over.
I want you to be in that, boy. You
roughly about $250,000.
Boy, I want you to be in that so bad.
By the residents of the area, a number of them, many of them worked, and everybody made a little something. And now we have brought relief to the area of Wapatat. This step was built in 1970. And I came in, and in a shake and a breeze, the step has been replaced in its entirety. It's a very long step. And we have added railings that never existed. And I think tomorrow, God willing, Compton, Mark and all the others, Clumsy, Valdo, everybody who worked, Benoit and all the others who worked, Issa, Desmond, all the Frank Charles, I will be coming up there tomorrow. I probably will have a drink with you all on that one. And, you know, that is what representation is about. It is not about my tank of gas finish. It is not about my mother die or my father die or this or that. It's not about that. A district rep can assist if he's able to assist. Nothing wrong with it. But these community projects that bring relief to hundreds and hundreds of people is what you vote for. The place now looks like a city. You all should have, but I will be putting up on my page pictures of before and after, so you'll have a full appreciation of what went down there. Milky Xavier, good night to you. Good night to Robert Cauldron. What's up, Mr. Cauldron and Masha? How are you, Arthur? Good night to you. Good night, Kim. In the CDC, there are two Kims, King Cauldron and Kim Housen. Good night to both of you. One Housen, good night. Jackie, your mom. Jackie, Miss Sidoni, good night. Alvin, good night to you. He said, special good night to his commander-in-chief. I salute you, and it is duly merited. Yes, he's enjoying the show, commander-in-chief. Yes, Alvin, good night to you. Good night to everybody. This one says, Richie, I'm in class. I don't know. Marius Modest, good night to you. Marius Modest, send me a picture of our bananas in Europe. Kalmaja, big up for Fig. And a lot of people did not know that of the 75 million products, Fig is number one in number one seller of Walmart. Henry Saldimus, good night to you. You taking another call, technician? Okay. All right, folks, I think that is it for the night. I have a number of Pryor said, magnificent job, partner. Okay, Pryor, good night to you, Pryor. Joan Filgers, good night again. Good night, good night, good night. Somebody sent me a picture of my show. Cornelia Jacob said, I'm trying the phone and I'm not getting through. You mind me permitting Cornelia to call me on my phone for, technician said it's time to go, Cornelia. Sorry. Folks, as I've always said, if God has blessed you, no one can curse you. Live clean, because what you sow, you are bound to reap. And be careful of the pit that you dig for others. Be careful of the pit that you dig for others. It may just be your own. I'm Richard Frederick. See you probably in the next 2 weeks, God willing. Bye.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a live video, and I was not disappointed. He was professional and kept in touch with me throughout the live, just making sure I was satisfied with everything. I would definitely use Paddy Access again, and I highly recommend that anyone looking to do a live video to hire them. Everyone who watched my brother's funeral